Shalom, shalom. I'd like to start out this video by giving all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Orach, Kwadash. Double honors to my teachers, the elders, apostles, and bishop of Great Millstone, teaching and ruling well. Salutation to the sincere brothers and sisters out there of the house of Israel, the hopeful elect, who are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their ability. Right? So I want to bring out a lesson. I don't know, through the spirit, we'll take it out as long as it, as it has to be. But just recently, what I've been doing is, when I go to bed, I set up videos of audiobooks. So I'm going through the Bible, as I'm in bed. And today I was going through the book of Daniel, and chapter 5 and chapter 6. So as I'm sleeping, I'm waking up to this, and I'm hearing the precepts, I'm hearing the gospel, and as I'm hearing it, the precepts are coming to mind. So I'm like, yo, what? As I'm in bed, I'm the man is reading the book, and I'm thinking to myself, yo, this can go with this can go with this. So I'm waking up in the spirit, and that's beautiful, I don't know if anyone is doing that, but going to bed with books being read, that's pretty good. For me personally, I think once, twice. I started doing this recently, and it's very helpful to me. It's very helpful for me. I wake up in the spirit, I'm good to go, man. For the day. So with that being said, chapter 5, I wanted to do a quick little run through of Daniel chapter 5, because it's very spiritual for the times. So it's very spiritual concerning the times that are about to come. It's very prophetic because it's a similitude, as I'm saying, as I titled this video, a similitude of the times to come. All right. So it says here in I'll start off with Ecclesiastes 3:15. That which had been is now, and that which hadn't been already. So and that which is to be had already been, and the Most High required that which has passed. All right. So everything so there's nothing new under the sun. Everything's already been done. We're ultimately our spirits. It's the same spirits in a different body. Okay. So the spirit of the prophets are subject unto the prophets. So if you're a prophet in the old times, in the old days, you'll be a prophet today. You'll be in the same lot. Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Habakkuk, Nahum, they're all back here in their lot, doing the will of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And Lord willing, we're a number of those men. I am a number of those men, and you faithful listeners as well. All right. So let's get going with Daniel's 5:1. Belshazzar, the king, made a great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, while he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein. Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of the Most High, which was in Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank them. They drank wine and praised the power of gold, and of silver, and of brass, and of iron, and of wood, and of stones. So it says here in Joel 3:5, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things, the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and will return your recompense upon your own head. And that's what's gonna happen to Esau Edom, because of what has been transpired through slavery, through his wickedness, taking the gold and silver, selling the children of Israel, the children of Judah. All right, all these things are gonna happen unto him. You see. So it says here, back to Daniel 5:5. In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaster of the walls of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loin were loosed, and his knees smote one another. So this guy was shaking. Okay, this guy was shaking. So basically, it tells us in Job 20 and 22, in the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. Every hand of the wicked shall be upon him. And in this sense, the wicked means the laborers, right? The people that are being, they're working for a penny on the dollar, you see? And so basically, it says here in the fullness of his sufficiency, man. You see, this guy is having dinner. He's chilling with his family, even boasting, using the vessels, the things that belong unto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. He's using that and praising other gods. You see, he's defiling his things. So you continue reading in Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. He shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yet the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. You see, so that particularly goes into the nuclear missiles going out of this Salakia, coming out of the silos to destroy Babylon the Great. But also in that time, in that time with Belshazzar, that only means that when he was eating, when he's setting up, he's having a good time with his friends, with his princes, with his concubines, with his wives. Okay, and as he's eating, the Lord is causing a miracle to be right to happen right in front of his face, and now his thoughts are troubled. He's shaking. You see. So back to Daniel 5 and 7, the king cried aloud to bring the astrologers, the Chaldeans, the soothsayers, and the king spake and said to the wise men of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and shew me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed in scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom. Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was the king Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thoughts trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy powers. They don't really know that it was Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. They said holy gods, in their wickedness, in their ignorance. And in the days of the father, Salakia, and in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like wisdom of the powers, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar thy father, the king, I say thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers, for as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams, and shewing of hard sentences, and the solving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belshazzar. Now let Daniel be called, and he will shew the interpretation. And what's powerful about that situation is that in the times that we're in, the Lord has given us the ability to break down the scriptures, hard sayings, dark parables. The true gospel of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai is here in the streets, in the mouth of the elders, apostles, and bishop, and the men on down. You see, we have the truth. We have the 100% truth of the gospel, because, and we say 100% truth because there is no leaven in our gospel. All right, there's no leaven. Meaning this gospel is untouched, undefiled by the world. You see, so it's pure, and that's the true gospel of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You see, we're preaching the same things that Yahweh Shai, when he was walking this earth, was preaching. You see. This is the same gospel. The gospel is perfect and never had to change. It's the same song that we're playing the right way. Okay? So it says here, Amos 3:7, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secrets unto his servants, the prophets. So for you to receive these secrets, you have to be a servant of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. All right? You can't be another, it's not mentioned. I don't know too much, there's not too many of these other nations that can break down the scriptures or understand the scriptures. It's not for them. All right? First you have to be an Israelite man, okay? And then afterwards you have to be a man of the Lord, okay? To understand these breakdowns. As it says here in Psalms 147:19, he sheweth his words unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgments unto Israel. He had not dealt so with any nations. As for his judgments, they have not known them. Praise ye the Lord. So you see, these other nations don't know the gospel. They don't know the proper breakdown. So even when they read the book, they you see this song, they do not play it correctly. They're off on the notes. You see, instead of they're off on the notes. They don't know how to play the song correctly. They're not using the right instruments. You see. Salaka. So it says here in Isaiah 47:12, stand now with thine enchantments, and with thy multitude of thy sorceries, wherein thou hast labored from thy youth. If so be, thou shalt be able to profit. If so be, thou mayest prevail. But we know that even after wickedness, you can't prevail. You sow into wickedness, you will reap wickedness. You see, thou art weary in the multitude of thy counsels. Let now the astrologers, the stargazers, the monthly prognosticators stand up and save thee from these things that shall come upon thee. But we know when I read the earlier precepts, it told us that those people, those sorcerers, they did not have the understanding of what was going on. They couldn't interpret the message that Yahweh Bashem Yahushai sent unto the king. So you see, so they have no power in their hands. All they have is witchcraft and wickedness. All right. Their basis is vain, right? And that's why they can't succeed on the things that are of high, okay? As it says here in 1 Corinthians 1:19, for it is written, I will destroy the wisdom of the wise, and I will bring to nothing the understanding of the prudent. Where is the wise? Where is the scribe? Where is the disputer of this world? Had not the Most High made foolish the wisdom of this world? So ultimately, witchcraft and all this wickedness, that's wisdom of the world. Right? And it's foolish unto Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You see? But us that have the word of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, we understand these things. The simplicity of the doctrine. We understand it because the Lord opened our eyes to get it. Right? So it says here in Daniel 5:13, then was Daniel brought before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, art thou that Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of the Jewry? I have heard of thee, and the spirit of the powers is in thee, and that the light and understanding and excellence wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise man, the astrologers, have been brought before me, they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof, but they could not shew the interpretation of the thing. And I have heard of thee that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now if thou canst read this writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold upon thy neck, and shall be the third ruler of the kingdom. And you see, that's Jake, balling out, always flexing, always flaunting, you got grills, gold teeth, there's the chains, big cars, fast cars, this and that, There's these rappers, that, and that's one thing, that deceitful of riches, it can choke the word. It can choke the word, That's why these people sell out, not knowing that, what can a man profit if you sell your own soul? We know that this is not our rest, all right? So we put our faith in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai that He will deliver us, man. Okay. And that precept, basically pertaining to the astrologers, that they cannot read it, brings me back to Daniel 2:3, which reads, pertaining to Nebuchadnezzar and his dream, which reads, And the king said unto them, I have dreamt a dream, and my spirit was troubled to know the dream. Then spake the Chaldeans to the king in Syriac, O king, live forever. Let thy servants Tell thy servants the dream, and we will shew the interpretation. The king answered and said to the Chaldeans, The thing is gone from me. If ye will not make known unto me the dream with the interpretation thereof, ye shall be cut in pieces, and your house shall be made a dunghill. And that's crazy, because that king Nebuchadnezzar is telling them to bring back a dream that he forgot. You see? Yeah, and that's ultimately impossible. How can someone do that? But we know that with Yahweh Hashem Yahushua, nothing is impossible. You see? But it says here, but if ye shew the dream and the interpretation thereof, ye shall receive of me gifts and rewards and great honor. Therefore shew me the dream and the interpretation thereof. They answered again and said, Let the king tell his servant the dream, and we will shew the interpretation of it. And the king answered and said, I know of certainty that ye would gain the time, because ye see the thing is gone from me. But if ye will not make known unto me the dream, there is but one decree for you. For ye have prepared lying and corrupt words to speak before me, till the time be changed. Therefore tell me the dream, and I shall know that ye can shew me the interpretation thereof. The Chaldeans answered before the king and said, There is not a man upon the earth that can shew the king's matter. Therefore there is no king, therefore there is no king, lord, no ruler that asks such thing at any magician or astrologer or Chaldean. And this is a rare thing that the king requireth, and there is none other than that can shew it before the king, except the gods whose dwelling is not with flesh. And that's funny they say that, because does it not say in your scriptures that we are powers? We are powers in this flesh, man. You see, the only thing is that we're trapped in the flesh to go off. Okay, but ultimately we are Elohims. You see, so we are powers, man. And those people, those magicians or astrologers, all these people, they said, there's not a man on this earth that can handle that, you know. But ultimately, through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahshua, he opened the mind of Daniel, and he was found worthy to be able to interpret those dreams, right? You see, and it says here, Salakia, for this cause the king was angry and furious, and commanded to destroy all the wise men of Babylon. You see, and ultimately that's what's gonna happen in these times, man. All these people that deal with witchcraft and wickedness and all these curious arts, all these other the doctrines and philosophy, they'll have to be destroyed. There's no place for wickedness in the kingdom of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushua. You see, everyone's gonna be under a righteous vibration, right? So back to Daniel's 5:18. O thou king, the Most High gaveth Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations and language trembled and feared before him. Whom he slew, and whom he would he kept alive, and whom he would he set up, and whom he would he put down. But when his heart was lifted up, and his mind hardened in pride, he was disposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him, and he was driven from the sons of man, and his heart was made like the beasts, and his dwelling was with the wild asses. They fed him with the grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High power ruled in the kingdom of man, and that he appointed over it whomsoever he will. O thou his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, thy concubine have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold, and of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the power in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified? Okay, so he's basically telling him, yo, your father went through all the hell, you know, because he became prideful. Everything that he obtained was given unto him by Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, and then he was stripped of all his possessions, even his wits. You know, he was eating grass like a beast, and you knowing this, you turn around and disrespect the Most High. Okay, and this is another thing, precept that I have. Isaiah 47:1, it reads, "Come down and sit in the dust, O virgin daughter of Babylon. Sit on the ground. There is no throne, O daughter of Babylon, or daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called tender and delicate." You know? And it reads, "Take the millstone and grind meal, uncover thy locks, make bare the legs, uncover thy thigh, pass over the rivers, thy nakedness shall be uncovered, yea, thy shame shall be seen. I will take vengeance and will not meet thee as a man. As for a Redeemer, the Lord of hosts is his name, the Holy One of Israel. Sit thou silent, and get thee into darkness, O daughter of the Chaldeans, for thou shalt no more be called the Lady of Kingdoms." All right. So that's just in the time that will come. Esau Edom is gonna have to bow down. He's gonna be in a confusion. He's gonna be in a low state, you know, as the Lord set him up in a slippery place to fall. And now we're seeing the downfall of Esau Edom. You know, it's more and more evident each and every day that this guy is not cannot he's being revealed as the son of perdition, mainly by the men of the Lord who are in the highways and byways. That he's not a profitable ruler, right? Everywhere he is as death. Okay, so it reads here in Daniel 5:24. Then was the part of the hand sent from him, and this was written, and this is the writing that was written, many tekel up rashin. This is the interpretation of the thing. The Most High had numbered thy kingdom and finished it. Tekel, thou art weighted in the balance and are found wanting. Perez, thy kingdom is divided and given to the Medes and Persians. So it says here in Job 14:5, "Seeing his days are determined, the number of his months are with thee, thou has appointed his bound that he cannot pass." So there's a time, there's a second, there's a place where this kingdom is at an end, comes to an end, and afterwards it's gonna be the kingdom of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, which is gonna be established forever. All right. And it says here in Mark 3:23, "And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, How can Satan cast out Satan? If a kingdom be divided itself, that kingdom cannot stand. If the house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. If Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand but hath an end." So that kingdom, ultimately, the kingdom of Esau Edom is on his way down. As I said, as another prophecy that is happening is Egyptian against Egyptians, sedition among men. You know, the love of many waxing cold, right? And iniquity increased because the love of many is waxing cold. Everyone has different opinions, different mindset, different ideas. You know, they're not in the same wavelength. You know, and they thinking they're all at opposition against each other, man. Egyptian against Egyptian. You see how even the conflict with Syria and the U.S. and NATO, all these things are brewing to ultimately end up in a World War III. Okay. So it says here in Daniel 4:17, "This matter is by the decree of the watchers and the demand by the word of the holy ones, to the intent that the living may know that the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of man, and giveth it to whomsoever he will, and set it up over it the basis of men." So and Esau Edom is truly the basis of men. Okay. Esau Edom, he went from eating fleas off his back, to not taking baths, to not, to not knowing like hygiene, to wearing suits, and looking down on the so-called Negro, Latino, and then Native Indians, looking at them and calling them savages. You see, but really they're the basis of men. And at the end of the day, when it says sit down in the dust, O virgin Babylon, virgin you see, sit down in the dust, O thou virgin Babylon, it really means that they're gonna be reverted to that state, right? We're gonna revert. They're gonna be a base to the point that they're gonna realize that they are the basis of men, right? And we're gonna treat them as such. Okay. He reads here in Ecclesiastes 10:4. The power of the earth is in the hands of the Lord, and in due time he will set over it one that is profitable. Okay. One that is profitable, man. And who is that one? It's Yahweh Shai. And once Yahweh Shai is set up, man, the whole world will have no other thing, no other option but to bow down and submit themselves to the order of righteousness, to the order of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. Okay? Salakia. So it says here in Daniel's 5:29, then commanded Belshazzar, and they clothed Daniel with scarlet and put a chain of gold about his neck, and made a proclamation concerning him that he should be the third ruler of the kingdom. And in that night, Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans, the king of the Chaldeans slain. In that night was Belshazzar, the king of the Chaldeans slain. And Darius, the Median, took the kingdom, being about 62 years old. So it says here in Psalms 149:4, for the Lord taketh pleasure in his people, he will beautify the meek with salvation. And again, the fact that that's just a representation that how the kingdom of Belshazzar was numbered, it was determined. Same goes with the kingdom of Esau Edom, right? This wicked rulership is coming to an end, and the fact that Darius, in a sense, in this time represents Yahweh Shai. He will take the kingdom. The saints of the Lord Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai will take the kingdom, right? And will put it under a tyrannical rule, right, for 1,000 years, right? So these people will give them 1,000 years to understand who's really in charge, right? So they may understand that it's Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai that's in control of the kingdom of men, right? It says here in 2 Ezra 2:43, and in the midst of them was a young man of high stature, taller than all the rest, and upon every one of their heads he set crowns, and was more exalted, which I marveled at greatly. So I asked the angel and said, Sir, what are these? And he answered and said unto me, These are they which have put off the mortal clothing and put on the immortal the immortal, and have confessed the name of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, and they are crowned and receive psalms. So regardless of what this world has to offer, Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai has even greater to offer. He gives us an uncorruptible crown, and sets us and changes our body into an incorruptible body. That's how we're gonna be beautified, as it says in Colossians 3:2. Set your affections on things above, not on things of the earth. So whatever you see on the earth is only temporal. Whatever is seen is temporal, but the things that are not seen are eternal. All right, the things that are not seen are eternal. Okay, for ye are dead. For ye are dead, and your life is hidden Hamashiach in the Most High. When Hamashiach, who is your life, shall appear, then shall ye also appear with him in glory. And what is that glory? In those immortal bodies, in power. Okay, we're coming in with strength. Okay, we're gonna return. We're gonna be changed like unto him, man. Okay, it says here in 1 Corinthians 4:24. So like 1 Corinthians 9:24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all, but one receiveth the prize? So run, that ye may obtain. And every man that striveth for the mastery is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown, but we an incorruptible. I therefore so run as not as uncertainly, not as uncertainly, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air. So because we have to be fully persuaded in our mind that this is our end, regardless if we die on this side or if we stay and witness the downfall of Esau Edom. We have to believe in our mind that Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai has a crown set up for us, man. Me in my head, man, I'm moving around like the crown's already there, man. But at the same time, I have to be humble. Okay, I move around, I maneuver through the earth like I have a invisible crown on my head, man, and it's heavy sometimes, right? It's heavy, but I still gotta walk around. I still have to move humble in the earth, man. Because ultimately, Yahweh Shai is the greatest king, and he gave us the example of a humble and meek man, you know. But austere, you still gotta be austere, right? You got no time for bullshit, man. You see. So that being said, I hope this lesson was edifying. This was the similitudes of the end time pertaining to Daniel 5, right? So at the so at the end we'll be beautified with salvation, right? Will be beautified with salvation, and Esau Edom will receive a recompense for his wickedness. His kingdom is going to be destroyed, right? And we're going to take over, right? In righteousness, right? So that being said, I hope this lesson was edifying. I'd like to give all honor, praises, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Macha, Kodash. Double honors to my teachers, the elders, apostles, and bishop of Great Millstone, teaching and ruling well. Salutation to the hopeful elect, the sincere brothers and sisters out there of the house of Israel who are keeping the law, statutes, and commandments to the best of their abilities. All right. DT Abba Kwam Yashala. Soon. Until next lesson. Shalom.